should be switched. Let me just check.
We got 150,000 subscribers, so.
And I never peeped the station. I'm going to go check it out now.
Yeah. Hey there, folks. It's Jordan. I'm here in Wayne, Michigan, in front of the Ford assembly plant. Day one of the United Auto Workers strike. Around midnight, the strike began. It's happening out of the gate at 3 plants. One here, Ford, in Wayne, Michigan. Ford actually hasn't been on strike. Workers haven't been on strike since the 70s from Ford, so pretty historic. You also have a plant in Toledo, Ohio, on strike, and one in Missouri. So basically, the approach, from what I understand, is to start out with 3 plants. These plants being shut down affect other plants and their production, which we'll get to. And as negotiations continue, the companies are basically holding the threat of shutting down more plants over the car companies. I'm here with Chantel, and you started here about, 13 years ago?
13 years now.
So basically right around the financial crash.
Yes.
So when you came in, no pension.
No pension. It was a pretty decent amount, but, we lost pension right at that time, so we just trying to fight here for what we deserve. We're not asking to go overboard. We just want to live a little bit like our CEOs live. We put in a lot of the work. We do a lot of the footwork, the hard work, the structure. Feel like we deserve it at this point.
Tell me, at this plant in particular, what kind of work do you do all day? I'm assuming hard labor, hurts the muscles,
Yes.
hurts the body.
We do a lot of back breaking, fingertips. We got a lot of jobs that's real hard around here, but it's not too unbearable. But, it's not equaling out to the money financially. It's a lot of wear and tear on the body.
What do you think? The Ford CEO, Jim Farley, he makes $21 million. The GM CEO, she's almost at $30 million.
Correct.
Stellantis, I believe, is around $25 million. And they're all on TV, basically making it seem like, damn, these workers are going to put us out of business if we give in to their demands.
Hey, we gonna get it one way or the other. So either they want to help us out, and we gonna help out. Well, you can't bite the hand that feeds you. Sometimes, we got families to feed, we got bills to pay, everything the same as they do. So we just asking for a little bit more.
And what I find that maybe people don't realize, yes, you're asking for 40% increases, but you gave back about 10%. 10 years ago.
Yes.
So it's not like it's 40% raise. You got 10% you're getting back that you gave up, inflation. So really, it would really only be about 20%, right?
Correct. Yes. Yeah, it's not. That's what I'm saying. As far as the math, it's not equal enough. We got the cost of living up real high right now, and they have to make it equal up to cost of living. It's real expensive nowadays.
Talk about this approach. A lot of workers wanted all the plants to go out on strike at once. Obviously, they're starting with only 3. The UAW president said he wants to kind of keep the companies guessing. They don't know which plant is going to go on strike. When. Do you like this approach that it's only 3 plants to start?
I think that is pretty smooth like this. I don't think it's a good time to have them all down at once, but this is a perfect start. Definitely a perfect start. I feel like they possibly could have did 2 at a time, different plots, different locations, but this is a great start.
And does your plant, the assembly you do, shutting down production here, will it affect other plants who might depend on parts from here?
Yes, it will. As far as our stamping department, we do a lot of stamping over next door for a lot of plants around here, including Dearborn and Livonia. So eventually, if they don't come up with some type of agreement, those plants will go down.
What do you think of I've noticed the local media, when they interview the UAW president, when they cover this, a lot of their focus seems to be on how this is going to hurt the economy, not so much on how the workers are hurting. What do you think about the media, the way they're looking at this?
I I just think that you have to be here to know, but they don't do all the hard work and labor as we do, so they don't really understand why we're asking for what we're asking for, why we deserve a little bit more. So I'm not really sure about that, but we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it.
And let me ask you about the 2 tiers, because, I mean, that's not just in the auto industry. That's in a lot of industries. It doesn't really make sense to me. Right now, you got to work 8 years to get to the top rate that a lot of others for the same exact job are getting paid. I mean, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I feel like the tiers should be eliminated off rip. I feel like it should not take 8 years at all to reach the maximum pay. In 8 years, you got to think about from now, in 8 years, where would the economy be as far as COLA, cost of living and everything, and it still wouldn't make the math equal up. So, again, we still got families who have bills, everything, just like everyone else, so you have to make the math add up.
And with inflation, you hear from the media, you hear from the politicians that inflation is coming down. Has inflation been coming down so much for you?
Honestly, we don't see that. We don't see the inflation coming down. Honestly, it's looked like it's been going up a little bit more nowadays.
And lastly, talk about the energy out here. You know, it's day one, so everybody's revved up. Tell me about you and your colleagues. What's the feeling like out here?
Honestly, we didn't think it was going to be like this. We didn't even think we was going to make it here. But now that everybody's out, everybody's participating, we got a lot of solidarity in the building. It is real lit and live out here. And there's nothing else we would rather be doing but asking for what we deserve. That's it. We just want what we deserve. We want some more money. We got bills to pay. We need to make stuff happen. And the sooner they give it to us, the sooner we get back to work.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. So let's show you just kind of inside the weeds. Smash the like button, share this live stream. We literally came from the airport. We're going to be here, and then there's a major rally at 5 o'clock with the UAW president, Shawn Fain. Bernie Sanders is going to be speaking, a whole lot of other people. I do notice some politicians who generally are pretty corporate tweeting in support of the United Auto Workers. Some of them have been on the picket line already today to get their photo op. They're not really with the workers. They're just with the workers. I'm talking to you, Debbie Stabenow. I'm talking to you, Debbie Dingell, Congresswoman. So don't be fooled by all these politicians suddenly are with the workers. Well, they're not with the workers, 365 days of the year? They're not with the workers the rest of the year, but suddenly they're with the workers. So you got signs, water, snacks and everything, which is pretty customary from a picket line. Hey, we're live. Can I interview you? Sure. So, obviously, the cars coming by, honking. Like I said, there is a plant in Toledo, Ohio, which is a little under an hour from here that's on strike. Also one in Wentzville, Missouri that is on strike. This is the first time that the United Auto Workers in 80 years is on strike against 3 of the companies at the same time, even though it's just 3 plants to start. And it could become bigger than just the 3. And the UAW president, Shawn Fain, has indicated that at some point they could just say, we're going to go on strike, all of us at once. So hang tight. Hey, I'm live. Can I interview you? Hey, I'm live. Can I interview any of you? Talk about the strike? Don't be shy. Okay. All right. Try to get some more interviews.
People across the street, too.
Okay, we'll go across the street, too. Hold on. Smash the like button. Share this live stream. Anybody want to do an interview? Okay. Hey, can I interview any of you? Can I interview anybody? We're live, trying to get the voice of the worker. Sure? Sure? All right. Where'd John go? Oh, there you go. All right, so we got a couple shy workers, so we'll have to go across the street. Hold on. Oh, you know what? Let me see this one. We're live. Can I interview you for a minute?
Oh, Jesus.
You're very popular, I know. Just a couple questions.
One more. Go
okay.
ahead.
What's your name?
Tiffany Harris.
Tiffany.
Yeah.
So, I've noticed these CEOs keep going on TV whining about how the workers' demands are going to put the companies out of business, blah, blah, blah. I don't really hear them offering to give back any of their money. What do you think about the discrepancy? You got the Ford CEOs making $21 million, but he says your demands would make the company basically bankrupt.
Yeah. Ain't that something else? I think that they should come up off their high horses a little bit. I really do. I think they should be able to help their people, that we all win, and be able to afford the vehicle that we make, I really wish that they get rid of these tiers, because I got a daughter that works here. She only been here a few years, can't even pay her bills. I'm helping her pay her bills to her own place. So, to be able to get a raise.
And she's working full time and can't.
She's working full time and here with us. And it's like, she can't even pay her bills. I got to help. So, I just hope that we all can come to the table and get a good good amount on the table for everybody, so we all can win at the end of the day. Because I really didn't want to strike at all. I love the vehicle we make. I love working here. So, let's come to the table and make it work.
How long you been working here?
I've been here 24 years. Wow. Yes.
Can you talk about, obviously, about a decade ago, to keep the companies alive, you gave back a lot of your wages.
We lost a lot. So I feel like right now is the best time to do it if we're going to do it. You see what I'm saying? We did give up a lot. At least be willing to give us some of the stuff back. We're not asking, and we know we're not going to get everything back, but at least come to the table and agree and give us back some of the things that we need. It's a recession out here. We can't even afford the cars that we make right now. So
wait, it's a recession? Because I keep hearing from Biden and everybody the economy's doing wonderful, but on the ground, the people are struggling.
We are struggling. Everybody is struggling, okay? So right now is the time. Let's make this change.
How do you like this approach of starting with 3 plants and kind of keep the companies guessing about, they don't know who's going to strike next, where? Because I know a lot of workers wanted, guns ablazing, everybody go out at once.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting this approach, but I kind of agree with it. I'm glad that he did take this route, and I'm glad that we got a hell of a fighter working for us. So that's
a change, right? Because in the past, the UAW president, it's all been a secret.
Yes.
Not a lot of communication.
Yes. He's doing an awesome job, and I'm glad that he's working for us.
Can you kind of talk about what are some of the choices you've had to make? Some people are choosing between groceries or medicines, electric bill, and this.
I myself been really robbing Peter to pay Paul, far as, if I got to pay DTE or go without a meal or two, or Lord forbid others that got kids, child care and everything else to come to work, and gas is high. So, you really got to think about what you're going to pay this week and what you're not going to pay this week. I can't lie. I did have some things cut off because I couldn't afford to pay the bill. So.
And, also they keep saying inflation is coming down, but the people I'm talking to, it doesn't seem like many people are noticing that.
I don't think it's leaving no time soon. I pray that it do, but it's not looking like it to me.
Talk about your colleagues here. Obviously, it's day one, so everybody is kind of feeling energized. What's the mood out here among you and your workers?
The mood is good out here. Everybody enjoying their time. I think we just pray that it don't be long. We all can come to the table and knock out this deal. Everybody go back to work and make their money and be happy.
What do you think of the companies? They made it seem like they've been making repeated offers, and the UAW didn't make a counter proposal. But according to President Fain, they just delayed and delayed and delayed for weeks.
Well, they got to make it look good for the TV. But in all natural, they just had to make it look good for TV. But if that was the case, we wouldn't be here today, would we? So.
And last question. When I watch the local media, they seem to focus more on how it's all going to hurt the economy, not as much about the workers. How is this going to hurt the economy more than actual workers struggling to put food on the table?
Right. That's a hard question to answer, because it's like It's a hard question to answer.
Maybe other people need to feel it.
Yeah.
To see how everyone else is feeling.
Yeah. So hopefully we don't have to feel it for too long.
Right.
Let's get this deal on the table and get us back to work making these beautiful products.
What's your name?
Tiffany Harris.
Thank you, Tiffany. Appreciate it. So it's another Ford worker. A lot of honking going on, which is a good thing. The United Auto Workers local is over there. So this is one of the locals across from the Ford. I don't know what number that is. Local 900. This is. So you see a couple local media reporters out here. Not a lot. I do not see CNN yet, surprisingly. Yeah, not a lot of media out here. I guess they're doing it from the comfort of their studio. But listen, something just from talking to two people you hear. Inflation is going down. News to me. I mean, that's obvious to working people. Yeah, gas is not, it's not $5 a gallon on the East Coast, but it's still pretty high, in many places close to $4. Grocery prices have come down a little bit, but there's been a 20-year inflation. It's called gentrification, and they're not doing anything about that. All these senators and Congress people tweeting out, stand with UAW. They've been selling these people down the river and giving away the keys to Detroit and Toledo and everywhere else to real estate developers to gentrify. Whew. Man, I'm going to have to get earplugs. To gentrify these communities. But workers are struggling. And, these are back-breaking jobs. I've already talked to some workers before I came here. I mean, I got back problems, so I know. They're limping. They've had surgeries, and it's all day. You know how Amazon workers are treated like robots and, quota. So are these workers. They're pushed to get productivity, speed it up. Crank it out. And that's hard when you're doing manual labor. So let's cross the street, see if we can talk to more people.
Almost 700 people watching.
Oh, wow. Smash the like button. 700 people watching. By the way, it costs significant amounts of money to do this on-the-ground reporting. Believe me, we'll probably be one of the few independent, keyword independent. We don't have any money from the big banks, Ford, GM, Stellantis, anywhere. So if you can support us, join us, statuscoup.com/join. Again, statuscoup.com/join. Become a member for $5 to $10 a month so that we can get this out to more people. We can fund more reporting. Our goal is to stay here for at least a week or two. Both myself, Lewis might come in when I got to go home. So please support us. Smash this like button. Share this live stream. As a reminder, we're going to be live again at around 5 o'clock. That's when they're having the big rally in Detroit, which is about 20 minutes from here. Bernie Sanders is going to be speaking. The UAW president's going to be speaking. I'm sure a lot of local UAW leaders will be speaking. So it will be really, 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 as the other woman said, lit. It'll be lit at 5 o'clock. Let's try not to get killed. And yes, you could send a super chat too. Colin will email me the super chats and I'll read them at the end.
I wonder what people are online for. There's a whole line.
Oh yeah, there's a whole line here. So let's see. So this is the UAW Local 900. If you don't know, United Auto Workers has been around for 80 years. Oh, are they online to like honk and stuff? That's pretty cool.
We could probably go after this.
Hey, we're live. Can I interview you? You look like you want to talk.
Just had one.
It'll be painless.
Sure.
Jordan.
Nothing's going to get twisted around?
No. What's your name?
Kevin.
A lot of energy on day one. Tell me about what do you think about this strategy of just 3 plants to start?
Well, I mean, if it helps UAW to have leverage to work on the contract for us, I'm all for it. And if it expands, I'm all for that. We're out here to try to get boosting our pay from the givebacks we've given back in previous contracts, and fighting for the future generations, our children that have started in here, that they don't have to wait 8 years to get the full pay. So I'm confident the UAW will come up with a fair agreement that'll work for the company and for the employees, and we can all get back to work and making Ford products.
How long have you been working here at Ford?
29 years.
I keep hearing 25 years, 29 years.
Yeah, big hiring date between 92 and 95.
Tell me about it, because this could be backbreaking work that you're doing. Meanwhile, you have these CEOs making $21 million going on TV saying you're going to bankrupt them.
Right. I mean, unless you've worked in a plant, you don't understand the aches and pains. You know, you got to sleep at night with your hands under the pillow flat, so because they'll curl up, and you got to peel your fingers open in the morning from gripping the guns all day and shooting nuts and bolts and everything that goes into assembling a vehicle. Standing on the concrete floor, your feet, Hoka shoes. I mean, they're a must because they're the most comfortable shoe, because standing for 10, 12 hours a day, I mean, your knees, your joints are hurting. I mean, it's a physical job, and when you go to retire, you know, we're hoping we'll be in halfway decent shape to enjoy the retirement.
Right. Can you talk about, you mentioned the givebacks, because you guys gave back a lot of your wages, benefits a couple years ago. They promised to give it back to you when the companies, you know, were on better footing. Right. Did they ever give those benefits, wages back?
No, we haven't received COLA yet. They took away the pension and health care for the new hires. They started an 8-year progression for new hires. They really haven't given anything back, and hopefully, you know, they'll come around to the table and agree that we are worth more than what we're offering us.
And what do you think about, you know, they're talking about electric vehicles, and, you know, that transition is hard, and if they meet these demands, they wouldn't be able to compete, so to speak. Yet the numbers are the numbers. Labor only amounts for about 7-8%. So something's not adding up with what they're saying.
I agree. You know, the UAW sits down at the table, and I'm sure they look at, you know, the numbers are on the table, and, you know, Shawn Fain has seen the numbers, and I'm sure there's some room in there for some raises, you know, for the membership. So, but to speak for sure, I can't say without knowing the numbers. But, you know, we definitely want Ford to be able to lead in the EV market, and we want to support them and build their products. So hopefully we come to a fair agreement and get back to
Talk about you, your colleagues. People are having to make tough choices, even though they're working full time. Some people can't afford, you know, got to choose between groceries and medicine. You got to choose between this bill and that bill. A lot of people here are working full time, but not making enough with inflation and everything else.
I agree. I mean, especially the new hires, they start in at $16.67 an hour. I mean, how can they afford to make a house payment and one car payment on $16.67 an hour? And then wait 8 years to get the full pay. In the meantime, they're racking up bills just trying to survive. So that's why we're out here fighting for equal pay for equal work, and help the future generations have a middle-class standard of living.
What's your name again?
Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. There you go. Got UAW Local 900 over here. You got kind of workers hanging in the parking lot. I forgot when I went cover the John Deere strike. Your ears start to hurt after a while from the honking, but it's a good thing, I guess. A lot of energy out here, a lot of energy, I'll tell you. And I think after midnight when the strike started, it was much bigger, but this is pretty much a 24/7 strike. So you got kind of rotations of people come, so it's always kind of staffed. There's the big Ford sign across the street. See if we can talk to more people. I'm expecting the rally later to get a lot of media coverage. Again, you got Shawn Fain, Bernie Sanders. They've been really trying to paint Shawn Fain almost like Trotsky. You know, Jim Cramer on CNBC, his head's been exploding. The audacity of this motherfucker, Shawn Fain. I mean, he didn't say that, but that's basically the message. The audacity of them, you know, 40%. Are you crazy? What do you think, you're a CEO? And Jim Cramer and CNBC, they had Fain on a couple days ago. I covered it, and all they wanted to focus on was, you know, Elon Musk and Tesla. They're not. These companies are not going to be able to compete because Elon Musk is barely paying his workers enough to live. So the message from the corporate media has been, you're gonna, you know, you're going to put these companies out of business because they can't compete with these other fucking union busters, these other corporate ghouls. So I'm happy Fain is standing his ground. You know, some people aren't happy. Some workers want more than some, but a lot of workers wanted to go on strike all at once. But this is early days. It's only day one. I mean, I was talking to John. For all I know, by Monday, you're going to have 4 or 5 more other plants on strike if negotiations don't start getting somewhere. So we'll see. Let me see if I can talk to more people. Hey, sir. Can I interview you? You look like you. What's your name?
Doc Killian.
Hey, I'm Jordan. Nice to meet
Okay.
you. Let me hear. What's that?
It's spelled like that.
Oh, Doc Killian.
I'm a recording artist also.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Tell me about how long have you been here?
I've been here for 26 years. I work in the main plant. And this is not about anything except it's our time and it's about time. That's it. That's
I like that. It's our time and it's about time.
It's about time.
You know, all I hear from these corporate CEOs, oh, we're gonna go bankrupt if we have to pay you, blah 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 blah.
Well, okay. What it's going to cost them per week could actually cover what's on the table. Figure that out. If you're making $59,000 a day and your employees don't make that in a year, that's criminal. 26 years ago, I hired in at $13.66 an hour. It's gone up $3 in 26 years. That's criminal.
You started at $13.66 and it's only gone up $3
in 26 years. That's how criminal this is. I was here in 2008 when they came to us with their hat in their hand and asked us for concessions to avoid the bailout. In good faith, they said that they'd get us back. The only way they got us back is in the back with a knife. That's it. I can't put it in any simpler terms than that. Right now, I've got 5 years to go. I don't want to leave a legacy for generations to come, a legacy that's a failure, plain and simple.
And with the 2 tiers, you who've been here so long, somebody next to you could be doing basically the same job.
A house divided amongst itself, this is a quote from the Bible, cannot stand. And that's exactly what the tier system is a complete and total division within our ranks. So,
can you talk about, I mean, you've been here for so long.
right.
This is pretty tough stuff. Your back, your muscles, injuries, surgeries.
I've got a rebuilt rotator cuff and 3 broke discs in my back from here. And I'm still working. And I turn 65 next month. Or next week, actually. And I hired in when I was 39 years old. But I hired in at a time when we didn't really have a prevalent system of ergonomics. So that came at the cost of all of those of us that came before getting injured and them revising things to actually do it in a smarter, not harder way of thinking.
And why that's important is you work so hard. If you get to retire in 5 years, how much you're going to be able to do if you're so physically
Exactly.
Can you kind of talk about they took your pensions, they don't want to give additional COLA, retirees aren't really getting increases. I mean, a main reason back in the glory day when there was a middle class was, strong unions, retirement benefits, this and that.
Okay, well, I can put this all in a nutshell by saying that when they effectively wiped out the middle class, they cut their own throats because we always have fed the economy. We've bought all the big boy toys, the cars, trucks, ATVs, motorcycles, homes, apartments, condos. We have actually fueled the economy. Well, when you take that away from us, we can't put that back into the economy. And our families suffer, and when our families suffer, the whole economy suffers also.
And all you keep hearing from the media, the economy is doing better, inflation is down. I talk to people all the time. People are really still struggling all over the place. I don't know where they're getting this, that things are so good.
Okay, I can put that in perspective also. I worked here in '04 when we made the Expedition and the Navigator. I bought one off of the line because I was still in the middle class bracket. That was in '04. Right now, I'm at $32 an hour. Because we went 11 years without a significant pay increase, I should be at $51 an hour, but I'm not. If I was at $51 an hour, I could actually realistically look at the vehicles that we're building. And that's how cutting the middle class is cutting your own throats.
What do you think about Biden? He says, I'm so pro-labor.
I'm not going to get into politics.
No politics?
No
Okay,
politics.
fair enough. Let me ask you about Ford CEO. He's going on TV. He's $21 million a year. The company made billions of dollars last year. They say they've talked about profit sharing and how they've been sharing with the workers. That doesn't seem to be so equitable.
Actually, all these things that they call bonuses and everything else aren't actual wage increases. It's a bonus check that gets taxed at 43% unearned income, and it doesn't feed your actual wage. But you get taxed half of it when you get that check, and at the end of the year, you have to claim the whole amount as earned income. So they're taxing you as unearned income at a higher rate, and then at the end of the year, they're taxing you at a full rate and putting you in a higher tax bracket to tax you even higher than that. So
Basically, not.
it's a no-win situation for us.
Can you talk about, because you've been here for decades, the UAW in the past, there's been a lot of problems with leadership.
I will not get into the politics.
What do you think? What do you think about Shawn Fain since he's come in? This approach with 3 plants to start.
Okay, he's got his own way of thinking on this, and I can't address that. I would have liked to have seen it across the board, make the impact statement right now, and hit them in the pockets right now. But I'm not in that position, so I'm going with the leadership that we elected.
Do you like the approach? They've obviously been updating members about negotiations. It's been a lot more communication.
Now that has been prevalent and in the forefront is we actually have been hearing what's been going on to an extent. There's always going to be the bargaining things that they can't talk about, but as much as they could say, they have said that we know of.
And bigger than just UAW, because he has said this and others have said this, do you feel like this could have an impact on other workers, other folks who might, not yet be striking or not yet unionized, but see, hey, this major union's fighting back, maybe we should too?
Well, if you notice, UPS not long ago got a historic contract themselves.
Yeah.
Blue Cross Blue Shield is currently out on strike. We're on strike. We're sending a clear message to corporate America that we are giving you the products and services that are making you the trillions of dollars over decades. It's time to give back to us. So,
what's your message to people watching? How do you want people to support? Do you want people down at the picket lines? Do you want people sending in food, etc.? How could people get involved?
Now, I really don't know how to address that. I would just say that for the general public out there, don't listen to the media wholeheartedly without actually asking questions about what this means, what that means. Bonuses don't mean COLA. COLA bonuses does not mean COLA. COLA means COLA, cost of living allowance. And the Social Security Administration, like I said, they gave for last year 18% to Social Security as an increase. 18%. Where's ours? That's it. Where's ours?
And also, you've seen a lot of these plants, when they say they're shifting over to electric vehicles, they want to open up non-union shops. So they seem to be wanting to get around the union in the name of clean energy.
I won't even talk about EV vehicles because I've got personal opinions that...
Okay. Man, I gotta have a beer with you and get you a little loose.
Well, if this can be off the record,
We're live, so if you don't want to say it, don't worry about it.
well, actually, I will say, I don't think we're ready for electric vehicles at this point because it takes more fossil fuels to produce the energy to fuel these electric vehicles than it does a standard gas-powered motor.
Really?
I don't think we have the capability to actually save anything green energy-wise at this point because it's taking more fossil fuels to create that energy for these electric vehicles, and there's a lot of headaches involved with these electric vehicles that they haven't hammered out, and it might take a half to a full decade for them to work the bugs out to make it even feasible for the general public.
For people that don't know, what fossil fuel usage goes into making electric vehicles?
No, I mean in powering the electric vehicles.
Yeah.
You've got to use fossil fuels to generate the electricity to charge up those electric vehicles. So to me that makes, but I don't know everything, and I'll be the first one to admit I don't know everything. But to me, I think we need to focus on what we have right now.
Would you like at some point, if the companies continue to delay or offer lowball offers, to see all the plants go on strike?
I think this is going to be a trickle effect. I really do. Because I don't see them moving right now. I would hope that they would, but it doesn't seem like when we came to the final hour, there hasn't been any movement that I know of. So,
and one more. You've been here for almost 30 years. When you retire in a few years, if you're lucky enough to retire, are you going to be economically secure? It doesn't sound that way.
No, actually, like I said, I'm stuck at $32 an hour. I've got 5 years to go, and basically, I'm completely stagnant at this point, and have been 11 years without a raise. So the cost of everything has gone up except my paycheck. Absolutely.
And the CEO's salary has gone up too.
Well, yeah, yeah, $250 billion in a decade. I mean,
stealing your labor. That's what that is. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Appreciate it, Doc.
Yep.
Hey, Jordan, Doc, right?
Yeah.
Can I get your portrait really quick? If you wanted to.
Yeah.
Oh, we got like over 1,000 viewers now.
Wait a minute.
Right there.
Oh, you don't have to do it next to me. I got you. Yeah. So, 1,000 people watching. Smash that like button. Share this live stream. You got the cars honking behind me. The sun is coming down. Motorcycles revving. Share this live stream. As far as I know, we are, from here, the only on-the-ground independent outlet. Keyword. I have seen a couple local media people since I've been here for about 20 minutes, a half hour. But I was not impressed with the local media coverage I saw, which was basically like, well, you're going to hurt the economy, and, well, how long are you going to strike? They don't seem to want to ask these workers, how's your life? How is it working in there for you? Are you going to be able to retire with a little dignity? When's the last time you got a raise? These are important questions to ask. They don't want to seem to do it. So share this live stream. Like I said, if you can support us, because this on-the-ground reporting isn't cheap, flights, hotels, rent-a-car, sign up, statuscoup.com/join. What time is it now? At 5 o'clock, so in over 2 hours. Actually, I think the building opens at 4 o'clock. 5 o'clock is going to be a big rally with UAW President Shawn Fain, Bernie Sanders. I will say, I don't want to sugarcoat it. There have been some complaints. Some workers weren't happy with the fact that they weren't all going on strike at once. My feeling is I will give the benefit of the doubt to this UAW leadership because I'm not in the room. You're not in the room. So from what I've read from some kind of labor historians, this approach has worked for other unions. It did work for the flight attendants union, where they did a kind of a staggered strike where you start with a couple plants and then you continue to release more plants on strike. It keeps the companies guessing. It makes it harder for them to replace the striking workers with scabs because they don't know when are these plants going to shut down. it kind of creates a little chaos in terms of what's the word? Product. Having enough product when you don't know when each plant is going to shut down. So that's a good thing. But of course, I mean, selfishly, I'd love it to be as many plants as possible and all the workers on strike all at once. That would be great to cover. But we will be covering, this plant. We're going to go to Toledo probably tomorrow. That plant is on strike too. I don't know how far Missouri is. Probably not. Maybe driving distance. But right now it's 3 plants. But by next week it could be more than that. So we shall see. Let me try to get some others to talk.
People on the line?
Yes, sir. Hey folks, we're live. Anybody want to do an interview about the strike? Working? Don't be shy. We're live. Anybody want to do an interview about the strike? Don't be shy.
I'm not shy.
There you go. What's your name?
Tracy.
Tracy. We've just been talking to workers about the strike. A lot of people haven't gotten a raise in a long time.
Right.
Tell me about you, how long you've been working at one of these companies, and what do you think about the strike so far?
I am 31 years with Ford's, and it's unfortunate we had a strike, but I'm with the local, and we have to do what we have to do because we took concessions in 2008, which we haven't recovered since then, and it's been a backward slide. So we need to try to get more from the company.
I keep hearing about the company's promise to give back what you gave back.
Correct.
That certainly has not happened.
No, but the salary did get theirs back. But, it's time for us to end tears and give the younger generation the raise that they deserve.
Can you talk about, I've talked to a few people who have been here for, 25 years, 30 years, move up. What's it like? I mean, you could be on the line with a newbie who's doing similar work but making $20 less than you.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't give very much motivation to the younger generation to stay in jobs like this. And these used to be preferred jobs and not any longer. And we're seeing that they're struggling. They're struggling at home and with their families and trying to make ends meet and everything else. So it's time we help them as well.
And a lot of those younger workers are having to work more than just this job, even though they're working full time.
Absolutely. There's a lot of workers that I know that have 2 jobs just to make ends meet.
And even though you've been there for many years, can you talk about, you hear inflation's getting better, but...
Well, we used to have the cost of living, which now we don't have the cost of living, and inflation keeps on going up, and it's getting to the point now that even us UAW workers are finding it hard to even purchase vehicles and being able to afford them.
How's your body? I'm talking to people, disc problems, surgeries. I mean, you can't go without any...
Sore sometimes. I've been there for 31 years, so I've done a wide range of jobs, so I'm definitely sore when I get up in the morning. So.
And what do you think about, you keep hearing this buzzword, competition. And if we give you the wages, the companies, if we give these wages, we're not going to be able to invest, compete. I don't know. I don't hear them saying...
How about if salary takes a cut in their bonuses and stuff like that to help support the companies such as we have? Says a lot of the people, if you look at the wage minimum that the salary gets across the board, it's a lot higher than what the average UAW makes. Right. Very high.
And there's tiers. It's not just at UAW. You got this, UPS had it, so many other companies have it. It just seems like somebody mentioned a divide and conquer strategy.
Yeah, it creates a lot of animosity between the workers, and that's why we need to end tiers.
And last question, the Ford CEO, he's making $21 million. The Stellantis, I think he was the COO. He was caught in his vacation home in Mexico when he was supposedly bargaining. How are these CEOs?
And if I see my workers struggling, I try to give back to them, and try to even the board a little bit. Even if I had to take a pay cut myself, I would definitely help my workers.
What do you want to see from the government? All you hear is talk. We support the unions, but there's not a lot of legislation to make it easier to unionize, actually put some penalties on these companies.
Yeah, we definitely need our support through across all boards of all the government and local officials to help us through this.
One more. Solidarity is a nice thing to see, right? You got energy out there, camaraderie.
Local 900! Come on, local! Come on!
That's all I wanted. All right, what's your name again?
Tracy.
Tracy, thank you. Appreciate it. So there you go. Last time I was here, I covered the GM strike in 2019, and I was in the Union Hall, and they're singing and solidarity forever. It was nice. It was nice. Let's see if we could talk to anyone else. Anybody else want to talk? We'd love to. Sure. What's your name?
Michelle Frowner.
Hey. How long you been working at Ford?
27 years.
Wow, 27 years. Not a lot has changed, at least in the last 10 years for you guys, has it?
No change. We gave, but we didn't get. They took it from us. They're supposed to give it back. They haven't gave it back yet.
I keep hearing them talking about competition and we'll go bankrupt if we give these wages. Then how does the CEOs keep?
And CEOs keep getting bonuses, and they keep getting more money. What about that? Can't they give up something? One day at least? One day of their pay probably could pay all of us a raise.
Talk about you've been here for 31 years. I mean, this is 27. This is hard labor. I'm sure, back problems, people got knee problems, surgeries. If you're lucky enough to retire, besides the stress of not knowing if you're going to have that economic security, your body is worn out.
Right. It is. It is. We go through pain. We go through deaths. We go through everything. We still have to come to work. I had 2 kids while I worked here. So, yes, I'm paying for 2 kids actually to go to college. My daughter is in medical school. My son is at state in engineering school. I mean, they don't want to give us nothing to help pay for our kids.
What do you think about this new leadership? Obviously, the president's been very communicative with the members. He's calling it the members' demands. He has seemingly been driving a harder bargain. You know, in the past, UAW might have just accepted this offer that they say is 20%. Are you happy with, the leadership seems to be pushing for more now?
I'm very happy with what's going on with him right now. I mean, so far, what he said is what he's doing. Because at first, we didn't think he was going to strike us, but he kept his word. He did. He said he mean what he say and say what he mean. So, yeah, I'm very happy with him right now.
Some people are split. A lot of people wanted, all plants shut down at once, go on strike at once. Some people like this kind of start with 3 plants and then go from there. What do you think of this approach of starting with 3 plants, one in Michigan, one in Ohio, and one in Missouri?
He's keeping Ford guessing. We never know if we're going to all strike tomorrow or not. He's keeping them guessing, so he's keeping them on their toes. They got to come up with something because he's coming up with something. This is new. This whole new to us. We didn't know what was going on. He said he was going to do transmission plant. Then last minute, he switched it up and did us. So.
And what do you think in general? You hear so much from the media. The economy's getting better. Wages are up. GDP, the stock market. I talk to people. Most people seem to be struggling.
Yeah, a lot of us are struggling. I mean, just because we work at Ford don't mean we don't have bills. The economy is up. Why can't we have our cost of living? The cost of living is sure up. You can't get a pack of eggs for 99 cents no more. We're talking almost $6. So come on, give us a break too.
And last question. The local media seems to be focused on this is going to hurt the economy. You turn on CNBC, they're talking about, well, the plants could just shut down and send the jobs to Mexico. Jim Cramer said that. It doesn't seem to me that the media...
That's not... Today, yesterday, the stocks was down. Today, our stocks is up. No. Stop with the BS and do the right thing.
What's your name again?
Michelle Frowner.
Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate it. So there you have it. And listen to this. I think almost everyone I've talked to has worked here 25 years, 27, 30 years. So this is not like, newbies who need to put in the work. These are people that have been here most of their working lives, and they're making less than 10 years ago. And I think that's really important. I mean, I failed like math in 11th grade, but if you think about it, if they're asking for over 40% back, and 10 years ago during the financial crash, they gave back about 10%, then they're really asking for, 25 to 30%. And then when you factor in inflation, they don't have cost of living adjustments, then you're getting to maybe they're making 20% more. That's called merit pay. These people are the reason that the Ford CEO is making $21 million. Or the GM CEO, who, by the way, is a class trader. Mary Barra started out on the plant floor for GM. I guess she forgot, what it's like to be a worker bee. Now I think she was on CNBC this morning. Excuse me, CNN. I was shocked the CNN anchor actually asked a good question and followed up, so she'll be reprimanded probably. But she said, well, if your wages has gone up, the salary for Mary Barra has gone up about 32%, so why shouldn't the workers' salary go up? And her answer was some twisted, well, my pay is based on how the company does. Yes, how the company does is based on the workers, you fucking asshole. So that was the GM person. Let's see if we can talk to some more people. Hey there, anybody else want to talk? Love to hear about what you think of the strike. Don't be shy. Okay. Anybody want to talk? All right. It's okay. So, let's go further here. Louis Vuitton, wow.
Oh, yeah, I have one.
And I want to, we'll see if we can get more people, but I wanted to stress that point. By the way, share this if you haven't shared it. Like this live stream. Super chats are appreciated. Colin will send me, I'll read the super chats. Please sign up. Let me actually give shout outs because I do think we got a couple new members since I've been live. Really important. We'd like to be here for as long as possible. Like I said, I don't have a crystal ball, but I do expect there to be more plants that are starting to go on strike over the next week or so. Welcome. Chris signed up. Pam signed up. Christine signed up. Richard signed up. So 4 new members. Listen, there's not a lot of actual independent journalism out there that actually travels to and covers stories in the trenches. It's super important that we have independent media out here talking to the workers, lifting their voices, because when you see the local media cover it, usually you might see it for 20 seconds on the local news in the afternoon or at night. A lot of times they edit things out of context, and they only want to focus on the economy, how it's going to hurt the economy. They're not really actually telling the stories of the workers, which we're going to do over the next few days. So definitely, if you can support us, it's statuscoup.com/join. Become a member for $5 to $10 a month. Let's see if we can get 1 or 2 more. Hey, ma'am, can I interview you real quick? Oh, okay.
Sorry.
That's fine. 222. 222. Hey, can I talk to anyone? We're talking to workers. How you feeling about the strike?
I've done a million interviews already.
Okay.
We're actually GM.
Oh, that's fine.
What is
We've actually been covering this for weeks. We're on YouTube.
What is Status Coup? Because I know what the word coup means.
We are a journalistic coup of the status quo. Yeah.
A little twist on that.
A little twist.
Status quo.
Yeah. And we don't like to, we don't push the corporate propaganda like CNBC and the rest. So.
Absolutely. You kind of just go raw.
That's right.
What kind of questions are you going to ask?
Well, I'm live, so.
Live, huh?
Real quick.
Sweet. Let's do a live one.
What's your name?
Charles Wade.
How long you been at GM, you said?
This is Ford.
Oh, Ford. Okay. She's okay.
Where have you guys been?
No. She was at GM, so I thought. How long?
I've been there. It'll be 25 years, March 1st.
I mean, everyone I've talked to, 25 years, 30 years. It's a long time. A lot of people feel like this was a long time coming. Can you talk about your experience? Obviously, you guys have been giving back over the last decade.
Yeah, over the last 17 years with concessions. Right now, we're just trying to fight for what we lost. Seems like a lot, but we've lost a lot over the last 20 years. It's time for us to fight for a new living standard for the middle class. We're rebuilding America the right way.
And can you talk about these companies keep using the word compete? And if we give in to these, quote, demands, we won't be able to compete. Well, how is the CEO then making $21 million? GM's is near $30 million. They don't seem to have a problem competing with their lavish salaries and bonuses.
Absolutely. The average price of labor on each vehicle is 6%. They are gouging the consumer right now on the cost of the vehicle by 30%. This guy's getting $22 million a year and saying that I'm asking for too much, wanting quality work, not paying his workers quality pay. what does he expect? Your attendance is going to fail. If you're only getting $16 an hour, most people look at it, they have 2 jobs. And the other one's probably the full-time one. The other one's probably paying them better. And they ain't got to wait 8 years to get to a little bit of wage to where they can support their families. You know, and with Ford, after 8 years, a third of your career before you're at top wage. And then at that, you're not even going to be making enough to really be proud of your job. Who wants a job where you're not proud of it? You're not working for a pension. You're not working for anything that any of the legacy like myself have came here for. And we're making this guy millions of dollars, breaking our backs, and he don't want to give nothing. He's smiling as he drives away in his corporate car that's paid for on top of the $22 million, using his corporate phone, which is paid for on top of the $22 million, probably insured by the corporate thing, and going to his house owned by the corporate company too, on top of his $22 million. So I think it's time for the worker now to start to be considered the value of this, and not the stockholders that are getting all the buybacks and these CEOs that are getting 400 times what I get paid. I can't make $22 million in my lifetime. In at least 100 of my lifetimes, I probably won't make $22 million. The average American, that supports multiple generations, 20, 30 generations of the average American's family. Just give me 1 year of that pay and it would support me for life. I wouldn't have to work no more. How about giving him $22 million for his whole career? Then I'd be kind of like, I'd feel like it was actually worth it.
And, you know, they're also the government just gave Ford, I think, $9.2 billion loan.
Yes.
Like, they made billions of dollars in profit, yet they're getting billion-dollar loans from the government, too. So something doesn't seem to be adding up if they can't, meet, I think, modest demands.
Well, they're taking a page out of Walmart and McDonald's book. They're going to end up becoming corporate welfare. Sooner or later, they're going to be doing just like Walmart does and training us how to get a bridge card. It's sad when you actually have people that are here supposed to be the middle class that need a bridge card to support their families, that are working overtime just to look like they have money. As soon as you give them 40 hours, they can't even pay their cable bill. It's egregious is what it is.
Could you talk about this 2-tier system? It seems like a way to kind of divide the workers, create animosity. Why should somebody have to work 8 years just to reach top rate when they could be right next to you doing the same exact thing?
Absolutely. That's one of the worst things about this tier system, too, is I'm a legacy employee. I'm making 32-something an hour, and right across me doing the exact same job, just on the opposite side, is a guy with 2 months, and he's just making $16.75 an hour. He might have 2 kids. My kids are full grown. Those 2 kids are barely supported. They don't give them the full benefits like they really do us. They cut their vacation time. These new hires, their second tier, or the tier that they lied and said that they dismissed and got rid of because Fairley doesn't know how to do math. That's where it's kind of getting crazy for us right there.
And what do you think about their refusal to bring back pensions? That seems to be like a non-starter for the companies.
Well, that was their downfall. You're not even valuing your employees. You don't want them to live a good life. What makes you think that they're going to make you those $80,000 cars you want to sell if they can never buy one? And then, what makes you think they're going to be proud of that car and want to suggest to their family buy a Ford when you just screwed them over and made them feel like they didn't matter to you? I wouldn't want to buy a Ford, even after working here 30 years. That the way they treat their employees almost makes it to where you almost want to just jump boat on them. And it's a terrible thing to feel, because in '99 when I hired in, it was something to be proud of. It was a career. It wasn't just a piece of crap job.
What do you think about back in 08, 09? They were almost going belly up between the government, the concessions workers made. Not only did they survive, but now they're thriving, yet they made promises to give back those wages. It's not like you're just going to get 40% increase. A lot of that's getting back what you gave up.
Exactly. All we want is exactly what we gave up 20 years ago. If you do the math, it's exactly the amount of cost of living and all that what our wages should be at this time of age. These corporations, all three of the big three, have made over $250 million in the last 10 years. That's $250 billion. And they're saying that we're not worth a couple, 46% raise. And really, that's still not enough. I honestly think that it should be more. You should value the people that are making you the millions.
I don't really know where he gets his math, because he went on TV and said if we give them what they want, they're each going to be making $300,000 a year. What is he talking
He
about?
doesn't know math. He doesn't. The guy is just a puppet. He's a guy that got a weird smile. He's kind of goofy, and it's just the Fords don't want to get the backlash. He is a puppet, and the problem with him is he's cocky, and he thinks that he's somebody special. And all it is, he probably knew somebody that paid for his Ivy League school and set him up, you know. And to sit there and treat these people that most of us came into this feeling like we could do anything for him, he's destroyed morale in Ford Motor Company. The guy has destroyed it. I'm sick when I see the dude. I cannot wait till the Ford family realizes that they hired a crappy leader.
And another thing that they and the other companies seem to be doing is trying, in the name of, we're trying to do the right thing, electric vehicles, is create these plants that are non-union, and then just say, well, less workers required. So it seems like they're just, like Fain says, kind of race to the bottom.
Absolutely, and they want to take these EV plants and paying them $16, $17 an hour at these EV plants. And they don't want to unionize them. They don't want to give them any of the things. They just basically want to make it kind of a two-tier plant, and with the EV is going to be the future of automotive. You're literally going to cut half of the people that have made you money and then hire in a bunch of people that are half of that. And then you just eliminated transmissions. We lost a whole plant of people. Couple thousand people's jobs just to try to make a little bit of extra money. And EV, we all know, isn't going to jump off. We don't have the infrastructure. It's going to take a long time before that's the standard of the automotive industry.
And obviously you've been here for a while, but can you talk about, you guys must kind of live under uncertainty because, technically they could offshore your jobs whenever they want. Lordstown, they were told, don't worry about it, we're not going anywhere, and then they shut down. Can you talk about that, never knowing when the next plant's going to close? Yeah,
like even when they say they're not going to close plants and things like that, even under a contract, it doesn't mean they can't close that plant. We have to allow them to be a business. So over the course of the last couple of years that he's been closing these plants and all, and there's really no excuse for it, just to try to say, and they're using EV as the cover-up of how they can cut up their jobs. He's wanting to take us from like 50-something thousand employees. He said, I've read an article where they said in the next 10, 15 years, he wants it to cut it down to 30,000. So how the hell do you expect people to, what are you going to do when there's nobody building the cars to buy the car? If you got a bunch of robots building your car, who the hell buys it? You know what I mean? And then shoot, if you're paying them all $16 an hour, if you can't buy the product that you made, what's the point of doing it?
Last question. What do you think about the new UAW leadership? Do you like this approach of starting with 3 plants and kind of holding the threat of more over them? Or would you like to see all the plants at once?
I think it's genius. We're not allowed to sit down strike. It's illegal now. And the regular strike is when we go by blueprint strike. I think they got a little complacent, thinking that they already kind of knew it's either going to be one of us 3. When they don't know exactly where we're going to attack from, we can slow bleed them like by using a plant like this, or we can gouge them by using a plant like Livonia, or we can hurt them even harder by going to Trenton Engine, or even harder by going to Dundee Engine. So I think it's a genius plan that's going to make it to where we can stand out here a little bit longer and not just blow all our union dues, all our union funds for our strike to just kind of prove a point. No, we're out here for the long haul to change the narrative.
And logistically, just so people know, shutting down this plant does affect other plants because all the plants are kind of interconnected. So some plants need parts from others, et cetera.
Absolutely. Shutting down this plant doesn't just affect other plants. It affects the whole community. There's a gas station down there. I guarantee you there's a couple gallons of gas not going to be getting pumped today. There's a store down there. He's hoping he's going to sell a couple more ho-hos. But when we're not working, they're going to realize quick that the middle class is what drives the American economy. And ever since it's been stagnant, what's the American economy been? Stagnant. Until you give us those raises, we're the ones who create the standard for America, unions, the UAW. I think it's just, we're going to always be living in a subpar world. If you guys want us, the America to be this great superpower, start paying your employee, American workers, like we're something. We're just trying to make money, live happy, and have our families be able to afford some food and go on a vacation every once in a while.
Are you hoping that this has a domino effect? Other workers not in the auto industry kind of get energized. People who might not be unionized yet start, working to unionize. Maybe other industries go on strike.
The domino effect already started. It started when John Deere started doing it. It started when Caterpillar, it started with the teachers, the nurses, Starbucks. All those young folks and different folks that are really fighting for what they deserve. And then you start seeing people like UPS win $49 an hour. They got 300,000 workers. They make less than Ford, and they're paying their people like gold. They do have a hard job as well. I'm not going to, those Teamsters, but they fought harder for they stood out for almost, 3 months, I think, just to get that contract. It shows that when we fight, we win, when we really hold it down.
What's your name again?
Charles Wade.
Thanks, Charles. Appreciate it. Absolutely.
Nice to meet you guys. Thank you, brother. No doubt.
Let's try not to get hit. You hear that a lot, middle class. Let's be clear. There hasn't really been a middle class in a long time. We kind of live in a caste system. You know the chart. Basically, you've had a 30 to 40 year great bank robbery, grand larceny, where the aristocrats are not working in the building, but who own the companies, the shareholders, the stock buybacks, etc. They're just stealing money. That's what capitalism really is. It's just wage theft. It is stealing labor and stealing the fruits of that labor from the workers. And the truth is, most of these CEOs, you heard it from him, most of these CEOs are kind of puppets. They're nothing more than just kind of balance sheets and making sure that you can pay the workers as little as possible and squeeze as much profit as humanly possible out of these workers. That's how they get their bonuses. And shareholders want their dividends. They want to do stock buybacks, etc. But at a certain point, you could only batter the victim over and over and over until they leave. And at some point, workers have just had enough. The UAW has I believe it's an $825 million strike fund. Let me repeat, $825 million strike fund. And why that's important, basically what strikes are, it's really just a game of chicken to see who kind of bleeds out first, the companies or the unions. And that's why with the unions, yes, obviously for journalism and for just optics, it would be much better if every plant was out on strike at the same time. But this is the first time that they've been doing 3 companies. So if every plant, all 3 companies went out all at once, you bleed that strike fund really, really quickly. I think they have to pay $500 a week, which is obviously not enough to live. But it's during a strike, it's not your full wages. But obviously, if every plant is out all at once, the company could just wait it out until they bleed the strike fund. But the way he's doing it strategically, like that gentleman just described, you're kind of keeping the companies guessing, so they have to worry. Oh, I hope they don't hit this plant next. Certain plants are more profitable than others for the companies, and each company has a different dynamic. Maybe GM can afford, a little bit longer of a strike, but maybe Stellantis can't. Just mentioning names of companies. So, and like he said, right now it's starting as kind of staggered. We're starting with 3 plants, but that could change. That could, 2 weeks from now, if the companies aren't budging, they could say, fuck it, we're doing all the plants all at once. And there's multiple layers, so it's not just the wages. These companies refuse to discuss pensions. They don't want to bring back pensions. Well, I can't say for certain, but it seems like for the UAW, there's 2 kind of red lines. One red line is the tier system, getting rid of the 2-tier system, and the other red line is they want their pensions back. So maybe they're willing to get a little bit less in terms of wages, as long as they have some type of pension back, and an end of the 2-tier system. Of course, there's COLA, which is cost of living. So you got a lot of different kind of categories they need to negotiate. And contrary to the corporate media propaganda, because the media just painted it, they just regurgitate what the companies are saying. The UAW gave their demands, I think it was 5 weeks ago. So these companies basically sat on it for weeks and just started really in the last week or 2 coming with any offers at all. The UAW president said he didn't get an offer from GM or Stellantis basically until a week ago. And they started, I think, at 10%. Now they're up to close to 20%. I don't want to predict, but I don't think this is going to end without I don't think this is going to end unless they get somewhere between a 27 to 30% wage increase. I don't think they're going to get 40. I don't think this is going to end until it's closer to 27 to 30% wage increases, a dramatic shortening of the tier system. The UAW's proposal was a 90-day tier system, meaning if you start today, it would be 90 days until you get up to the top rate. The company's countered with moving it from 8 years to 4 years. That's still unacceptable. I don't think they're going to end this strike until you get that down to somewhere reasonable. I don't think it should happen at all. I think it should just be, you get paid the same for the same work. But I think they could try to wait it out till maybe, 3 to 6 months. I think that's going to be the sticking point, the tiers. I think the companies might be able to give a little bit more on wages, but I think they want to keep things divided because they know if they open up, if they let the dam break, if they let the floodgates open and they give to the workers now, these CEOs, they are part of a broader class called the United Corporations of America, and they don't want to set the precedent of ending the tier system, of giving back pensions, et cetera, because then workers elsewhere are going to say, all right, let's follow the UAW blueprint. So it will be very exciting to see what happens. I do not think this is going to be a quick thing. I think this is going to be drawn out. We'd like to cover this as long as we can. We just got here today. Our goal is to cover it for at least a week or two. Myself, Lewis, my colleague, is probably going to come in and replace me in a few days. So please, if you can, please support us as low as $5 to $10 a month. You probably spend $5 a week on like burnt coffee from Starbucks or something, or think about what you spend $5 to $10 on a month. Can you, yes, redistribute that to support actual on-the-ground reporting? It is not cheap. Again, flights, hotels, rent-a-car, food, all of that, it costs money. That's why most other outlets don't do it. So please, please support us. If you notice, we're not just using the talking points from corporate America. We are talking to the workers, unedited, and trying to get their stories out, what they are dealing with, and really get the truth out, which is we are living under a caste system, or what I like to call the economic Hunger Games. The economic Hunger Games, where it's social Darwinism, survival of the fittest. And by the way, Biden gave a little, a press conference or something this morning, trying to pretend he's out there with the workers. No, he's not. If he's out there with the workers, Biden could have done something and pushed the PRO Act. The PRO Act is legislation that would make it a lot easier to unionize and would actually produce penalties for union busting. All he has done is bumper sticker vague comments that, they have a right to unionize. In the background, he's not doing jack shit. And trust me, Biden and his administration are pushing the UAW to end the strike, as well as the companies to end the strike. They are not pushing the companies behind the scenes to give the workers anywhere near what they are owed. So be clear about that. 1 second. Hey, anybody want to talk?
No, I just wanted to meet. I watched your podcast the other day.
All right.
So I was looking for it. I'm like, I couldn't.
Talk for a second.
Like they got you going. No, I don't want to.
You sure?
We're actually at Mopar.
Okay.
We just wanted to come down and make sure they had her information.
That's fine.
You'll be our way when we pull out.
All right. At least you watch. That's fine. That's another thing I've noticed when I covered the John Deere strikes a couple years in Illinois, in Iowa. Some people want to talk. A lot of people are, they want to hold their signs but not talk. But that's okay. I don't mind being a little pestering people. Hey, you want to talk? That's okay. So, what's that?
Let's try this guy.
Sure.
He's been here.
You got a minute, sir? Okay. You got a minute?
Just a second.
Okay. He'll come. So, I think he's coming in a minute. So, like I said, around 4:30, 5 o'clock. Actually, no, the doors open at 4, 5 o'clock. UAW President Shawn Fain, Bernie Sanders is going to be talking. There's going to be a whole lot of people there. Later. Also going to be some retirees. Also going to be some retirees there that I'd like to talk to, because it would be good to get a bit of a historical perspective from retirees who have been through the trenches. They've been through a lot of corrupt UAW regimes. You had embezzlement, corruption, not just the UAW, a lot of other unions too. So I'm going to talk to some retirees too. I have put in a request from Bernie. I've been putting in requests for Bernie for the last 8 years. I don't know if Bernie wants to talk to me. We'll see. I'll see if I can get Bernie. Hopefully I can get an interview with President Fain. Anybody want to talk real quick? Sure. Come on over. What's your name?
Candace Holmes.
Hey, Candace. It's really a lot of energy out here. I've talked to so many people. Tell me about, you feel like it's about time you went on strike, and what do people need to know about the work, what you guys are working through? You haven't gotten a raise in God knows how long.
Well, I do feel like it's about time that we actually went on strike. It's sad to see what these companies think about us. We build these cars. We here long hours. We sacrifice time with our families. It's just really sad. Like, they did the increase from 9, the first offer, to 20. That's a jump. That shows what they are actually capable of. And it doesn't hurt to show support to the people that support you. We pad your pockets. We make you live comfortably. Help us live at least above poverty level. It's so many of us that don't have the seniority that I have, or even people with 20 years that can't afford what we make.
How long have you been working?
I've been here almost 8 years. So it's a little bit different because I came in under a different contract, but everybody deserves to make the same wage. They deserve to be able to live.
About living, you mentioned people are, poor, poverty.
Yeah.
It's not like prices are that much lower. You got gas, groceries, housing. This CEO is going on TV, $21 million. He's whining about competition. Yeah. We can't be competitive. Yeah. Well, then maybe you should give back some of your $21 million.
Of course we're not going to see that, but Michigan Assembly, it's such a diverse unit. Like, we stick together through everything, and it's sad that, a lot of these Broncos that roll off the line, a lot of people are not going to see. They just can't afford it. These cars, we are building $7 million in a day. $7 million in a day. That makes no sense that they just can't survive. I'm ready. I'm ready to get out here Tuesday. I'm ready to show my support.
Talk to me about, I hear a lot about you guys have given back over the last 10 years. You gave back in your wages. Yeah. So it's not even like you're asking for 40% because you've already given back about 10 or so percent.
Yeah. And, well, when, we had the first economic crash, and Ford was one of the ones that didn't have a bailout. They took a lot from their employees. We're just simply asking for the things that you gave before. Just give it back to the next generation. Full circle. It's not even really about what you never given before. It's things that we make concessions for. It's time for us to give back everything we already lost.
Tell me about a typical day. 9 hours, 10 hours, your body hurts. It's not like this is hard labor.
Well, yeah, a lot of jobs in here, we do have some things that are fairly easy, but a lot of the jobs that go unnoticed are the jobs, the real grit and grind. We work 10 hours a day. We work, and it's not that the conditions are bad, essentially, but it takes a toll on your body. I'm 35, and I have carpal tunnel in both hands. And sometimes, it's not really recognized, the things that we sacrifice, like you too tired to make it to kids, events. Like I said, we sacrifice time with our families. We sacrifice our lives, period, as humans. We're in here a lot.
And these companies, by the way, as they were preparing for the strikes, were making workers work 90 days in a row, things like that. So they were trying to amp up production by having you guys work nonstop.
Yeah. Well, Ford, not essentially, but it is a few positions that 7 days a week. Sometimes it is mandatory. Sometimes it is mandatory, and then when they call these long hours, it's really no preparation mentally. There's no preparation for it. If we're in there and we're on an 8x5 schedule, which means we work 5 days a week at 8 hours, and at the last minute they come in and say, you're working 10 hours today, you're working 10-5. That's 10 and a half hours in a day. There's not even enough time for your body to recuperate from the day before. Because we still have to go home with children and continue the things that we need to do to prepare for the next day.
I was also going to say, how do you really how do you really prepare for your schedule with picking up the kids or this and that if your hours are unpredictable like that?
Well, you know what? It takes a village. And if you have one, please, please, please be very, very, very grateful for them. Because like me, I'm a single mom. It's hard. You have to find daycare. Daycare is very expensive. Daycare is like almost as much as rent is right now. So if you have a support system, you hold on to them dearly, because without them, you probably would not be able to make it in this industry.
And you kind of talk about, you keep hearing in the media, oh, the economy's doing better, stock market's doing good, low unemployment. I don't know. I talk to people, everyone seems to be struggling, making difficult choices between paying this bill or this bill. Yeah. Talk to me about the economy.
The economy isn't, okay, so it might be, I won't say in the surplus. It might be steady for right now, but that doesn't mean that the people that are living in this economy are stable. We're sacrificing it. It's essentially robbing Peter to pay Paul. And sometimes Peter or Paul don't get paid. You got to figure out something else. But it's really, like I said, it's sad. We have to choose between being able to just survive. Groceries are high, and I don't understand why they think they're not, but you can go in a grocery store and spend $50 on 3 items. It's just, essentially, it's not in our favor. We need higher pay just so that we can survive.
And what about all these stock buybacks? Ford, GM, Stellantis, they're spending hundreds of $millions on buying back their stock to jack it up, not to mention giving all the money to shareholders, etc. Yeah. It seems to me like they got more than enough money to pay what you're asking for.
That part, it's more so the stock buybacks. It's crazy, the price gouging that's going on. Like they're buying it back for a little to nothing, and then it's tripling in what you pay for one share. Like right now, I believe Ford was like it wasn't as much as GM, but by the time this is over, it'll be surpassed that.
Do you like this approach? Some workers wanted all the plants to go on strike at once, but obviously they're starting out with 3 plants. That could change. You could have more plants by Monday. Yeah. Do you like kind of the trickle approach?
I believe it works better actually for the strike fund, because if you deplete it, then what do we do? It's not really so much as everybody going at the same time, but if we show them like how everybody's out here in solidarity, there are other locals that are supporting us. It is going to hit them harder the longer that Michigan Assembly is off, because we have one of the hottest products right now. Yeah, people are paying. They're paying $100,000 for these Raptors. The more and more they don't roll up the line, the more Ford is going to lose.
I should have said that at the beginning. They're making the Broncos. You remember OJ back in the day with the Bronco? They're making the Bronco.
Yeah, we make it, and then the 24 Ranger. When I tell you,
$100,000.
It's nice. Listen, these cars are nice, and when you get in them, sometimes you think I shouldn't even be in this car, because I know I'm not going to ever see this kind of vehicle. So
that's sad, though. That's sad that you make these cars, all your sweat, labor, and you can't even sniff buying one.
No, because what do you choose? Do you choose being able to provide for your family, or do you choose paying a car note that's almost $1,000 with insurance that might be just as much? It depends on, I live in the city. Insurance is going to be through the roof for a Raptor. So, yeah.
What do you think about it? I don't know if you've noticed that the media, when I watch local media or national media, they seem to be very focused on, this is going to hurt the economy. And these companies need to be able to compete. I don't really see them telling the stories of the workers.
They're not concerned with us. The economy is the bigger picture. It's more so, and if they were worried about us, the economy wouldn't suffer. So I just wish that people would pay, this is a real fight. I wish they would pay more attention that we actually are fighting for our lives. We're fighting.
Lastly, do you hope that this kind of spreads? Obviously, you've seen UPS just got a contract. Yeah. Starbucks workers have been fighting for a while, Amazon workers. But overall, in America, a long time ago, unions were a lot bigger and a lot stronger. Yeah. Are you hoping that this kind of is contagious and more workers kind of say enough and try to unionize, maybe go on strike, those kind of things?
I do believe that if more people stick together, we'll see a better outcome. More people will be able, like I said, they'll have a better quality of life. The economy will actually be boosted. I feel like if there are people that can afford the things that they're selling, or that we're, the consumers want to buy, but they can't because they can't afford it, I feel like, what does it not benefit you to take care of the people who are spending the money?
Yeah. You think the government, the president's doing enough for labor?
I think he has a slow approach. I don't think he's moving.
That's an understatement. Yeah.
I don't think he's moving fast enough. And not that he's not doing the work. It's just that the work isn't reaching us fast enough. So.
What's your name again?
Candace.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Absolutely. That was great. All right, let me see if I can get one more before we wrap up. We're not really wrapping up because we're going right over to Detroit. Again, huge rally at 5 o'clock. Shawn, Fain, Bernie Sanders. I'm sure there's going to be other local leaders speaking. We'll do plenty of interviews there, too. I got to get some water too. Can I get you for a second?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Ian.
Ian? Jordan.
Jordan, nice to meet you.
How long you been with Ford?
3 years.
So everybody I talk to, it's like same story. People are struggling. People are 8, 9 hour, 10 hour, 11 hour jobs, but having to make difficult choices between this bill, that bill, and all you hear from the company is, oh, if we give in, we're not going to exist. Seems like kind of BS to me coming from them.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. A lot of us, we're a huge family here, right? We know every ins and outs of everything of our families with each other. And it's sad, none of us can afford the cars that we build. We're all driving hoopties. I get calls all the time, hey, I'm breaking down, can I get a ride, can I get help? And it's just the same old story, They want to blame us for everything when, they're not taking responsibility in their own end,
It just seems like kind of like this, they kind of tricked you guys into giving, I know you've only been here for 3 years, but 10 years ago, all the workers gave back so much in wages, and we'll promise you, we'll give it back. Just help us stay alive.
Absolutely. I'm third generation, so my parents were a part of that, right? My mom and dad didn't get a raise for, I think it was 13, 14 years now. They work at a parts plant, so they only get 30 cents a raise when you do get hired in over there post 2009.
30-cent raise?
Yes, sir. Yep. 30, 60 cents. We're over here, you know what I mean? My 3 years, I made it what it takes 6 years someone else at a tier 2 plant takes, right? That's absurd. Oh, yes, absurd. It's absurd, man.
You think they do that, obviously, to pay less, but also kind of divide and conquer?
Well, absolutely. The more that we're divided, the less power we have. They don't want us together, man. It's too strong for them. We're just a big family here, and they don't like that, so they try to do what they can to kind of pick and separate us. But we won't allow that to happen.
What do you think of this new approach? Obviously, the UAW president, he's been doing these live streams, actually updating members. In the past, it was all kind of behind the scenes. Everybody was just speculating what was going on. Do you like the approach by Shawn Fain? Do you like kind of this staggered approach? Let's start with 3 plants, then kind of keep them guessing who's going to go on strike next?
Absolutely, absolutely. You got a new age, too, a lot of new media, younger generation. And I like to keep them on their toes, right? They're always thinking, okay, now we got a game plan. Oh, no, we don't have a game plan. Now we're going over here. Yeah. That surprise element is always good.
Yeah. And also, if everybody went on strike all at once, I mean, the strike fund's big, but it could go quick.
Absolutely, absolutely. And with our plant down, within 2 days, you'll have 6 plants down, right? Mm-hmm. So we
talk about that. This plant being down could shut down 6 other plants.
Absolutely, because we do just more than the Bronco and the Ranger. We do the shells for the Escape. We do parts for the F-150. We have our hands in a lot of different things. We do a lot for this company, man.
Right. So it's not, three plants might be physically on strike, but it really fucks other plants.
Absolutely fucks them really hard, man. I mean, all the way down to Kentucky, I mean, you got statewide. Dearborn will shut down. The body shop will end up shutting down. It's just a collaborative effect. And it's showing good faith, though, that we're still trying to work. We want to work, man. We really want to work. It's not that we want to sit here and strike. But it's showing good faith that, okay, we'll just take a little bit away right here right now, right? We're still working. We're trying to. Okay, now we'll take a little bit away over here, just until you guys come into your good faith and just agree upon what we're asking. It's not a lot, man. You know what I mean? It's a fraction of what they make personally. What they're afraid of is their $1 million corporation of them losing money compared to saying that everyone's going to lose money on this. No, they're not, man.
You know, to me, if you have the CEO, he's on TV, he's making $21 million a year, certainly not doing anything that's worth $21 million a year. Isn't this kind of just wage theft at the end of the day? They're just stealing labor?
Absolutely. Well, and then if you think about it, if we could afford to buy the cars, then you have a whole new consumer base, right? Now you got thousands and thousands, what's there, 4,500 workers here? That's 4,500 extra workers just at one plant that's going to be buying Ford vehicles. But we can't afford to do that, man. It's insane, especially with the economy now and what rent is. I mean, a lot of us, we're either renting or living with loved ones, especially with the economic crisis now. A lot of people, they were paying $800, now they're paying $1,200 on their mortgages, $1,300 on their mortgages. Like, it's a lot of money that...
The media tells me the economy's doing wonderful now.
Not with us, man. I mean, we're living it. They can say whatever they want to, but we're physically living it right now.
And that must psychologically be kind of tough when you're working all day on these cars, but you can't buy one. You can't even sniff buying one.
Well, it's just like a dream. You're just sitting there dreaming. I'm like, oh, that would be nice to take my family to the beach. And because I know what this job used to produce, because it used to feed me as a child, feed my sister, feed all my cousins. Like I said, I'm third generation. Like, I know what this should provide for my family, and it's not providing for my family, man.
You want to see politicians, obviously they haven't been doing much, but you want to see them do more? You want to see them do more to actually require these companies to bargain in good faith?
Absolutely. Get very involved, because we're all one family, right? Whether you're a politician or a low-caste citizen, we're all one big family here. This is America. We need to stick together.
What's your name again?
Ian Givens.
Thanks, Ian. I appreciate it. There you go. Let me see. I want to read some super chats. Do you have them or do I have them?
They're in the email.
Oh.
Both have them.
All right. Let me read some super chats. By the way, welcome new Status Coup member. Margaret just signed up. Spencer just signed up. Dina signed up. Lisa, Richard, Christine, Pam, and Chris. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I know we could get a couple more while I'm live. Sign up. StatusCoup.com/join. And for all you motherfuckers saying stop begging, I will continue to beg for you to support actual living, breathing on the ground. Let me repeat, on the ground. I am not in a studio. This is not a green screen. We are talking in spitting distance to the living, breathing workers of America who have been battered, bruised, and exploited for the last 40 years. You are not going to see CNN out with these people. You are not going to see MSNBC, not if it doesn't involve Trump. You are not going to see the New York Times, Washington Post, if they're out here. They might do a story and do, well, this side says this, and this side says this. We're neutral, so we can't tell you the truth. The truth is these companies are stealing from the workers, and they've been doing it for a long time, and the government's allowing it to happen because the government is purchased by the same corporations. It's called the United Corporations of America. So please support us, StatusCoup.com/join. Let me read the super chats. If I could find them. All right, Mike Thompson, $5. Doing great. Thanks, Mike. Neurotica Productions, $10. Chad Stryker versus Virgin Scav. All right. Arisram, $10. Local 249, Kansas City, Missouri. Stay shout out to auto workers. Stay strong. Thank you very much. Tab, $10. Local 600 here in support. Hashtag stand up UAW. We're trying not to get hit by any cars today. Tab C, local 600 here in support. Hashtag stand up. Henry Jumbo Head, $1.99. Thank you so much. New Status Coup members, Lisa, Dina, and Margaret. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I think I got everything. If that's, I got. Oh, that said new readout. Was there another one? Oh, here we go. Michael Cooper, is there a strike fund people could donate to? Do you have the link? There is a strike fund. I don't know how it works, but I'm pretty sure if you go to UAW.org, go to UAW.org. I think the info about their strike fund is there. My wife, Jordan, I hope you're wearing sunscreen. I would never lie on TV or the internet to my loving wife. So after this, I have to get toothpaste because they took my toothpaste at the airport. Apparently, having too big toothpaste is a crime. So I'm going to get toothpaste. I'm going to get sunscreen. I'm going to apply it immediately for my loving wife. Donation to our website. Brooks, been watching Jordan for years. Oh, $20 from Brooks. Thanks so much. Been watching Jordan for years and wasn't in a place to help. I'm fortunate now to be one of those people you mentioned tonight who aren't plutocrats, but lucky to have decisive action that helped. But these interviews, they're but for the grace of God, as some might say. Hope this helps. It very much helps. Thank you so much. $25 donation from Jesse, price gouging, paying themselves hundreds of millions, and not paying the workers fairly. The CEOs and the board are nothing but sharks. Good luck. Sharks and thefts. Absolutely. And by the way, you can donate through our website. That's statuscoup.com/donate. It helps fund this trip. Like I said, we'd like to be here for at least a week, maybe 2 weeks. It just depends how much we get as terms of member signups and donations. $10 from Ed. I donate $5 monthly, but here's another 10 spot for UAW coverage. Thank you so much, Ed. $15 donation from David. Love the show. You all do the real reporting that needs to be done. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you so much. $15 donation from Sonia. Thank you, Sonia. New YouTube member. You can sign up through YouTube as well as our website. Hubs signed up. Hubs. Thanks, Hubs. Woo! I think my hearing's going to go with all these motorcycles. Raylon, $10 super chat. Thank you very much. I'm downstream of this and still support UAW 1,000%. Thank you, Raylon. Everett Jones, $1.99. You get more interviews if talk to strike captains. Thank you, thank you. Sensory Maria, $20. The California Assembly has introduced legislation that will make striking union members eligible for unemployment insurance. Thoughts? I think that would be a great thing. Because if you could get obviously your strike pay through your union as well as unemployment insurance, that is a huge difference. I mean, listen, the union does what it can, but they're only getting $500 a week through the strike pay. I mean, that's not enough, obviously, to live for long in this economy. So if you could if you could also get unemployment, it obviously kind of takes more of that economic stress off your backs if you go on strike. So I think that would be a terrific thing if they add unemployment insurance for striking union members. Thank you, Sensory. Lauren Sargent, 1999. Power to the people. Solidarity forever. Thank you. Zion Leon, $5. UAW Local 2164, Kentucky. No compromise. We strike. UAW Solidarity. Thank you. Thank you. Das Post flies 249 euros. Feel the power of the 99%. I feel it and I love it. Thank you very much. I got another one here. New Status Coup YouTube member, Jeff, signed up. And a new website member, Christy. So let me give one more shout out before we close this live stream. Make sure I didn't miss anyone. Welcome new member, Robert just signed up. Christy, Margaret, Spencer, Dina, Lisa, Richard, Christine, Pam, and Chris. Not to mention, I think it was 3 YouTube members. That is awesome. Thank you so much for signing up. By the way, when you sign up for a membership, you also get to join us on our monthly members call, which I'll probably do when I'm back from maybe I'll try to do it while I'm here. We'll see. But you get perks as a member, not the members call, which we do through Zoom once a month, as well as behind the scenes content, which we'll shoot while we're here covering these picket lines. And we have a members Discord. So you get something for your membership in addition to supporting our journalism. Like I said, we're going to be covering the Detroit rally at 5 o'clock. There's also a picket line in Toledo, so we're going to cover that tomorrow. There's also a picket line in Missouri. I don't know where that is in terms of Detroit, so we'll see if that's in driving distance. I'm not sure. We'll definitely be covering Michigan, Ohio, and honestly, we don't know. It's three plants today. It could be more tomorrow. So we'll cover that, but definitely come back for the 5 o'clock live stream. Again, Shawn, Fain, Bernie Sanders. We got to go charge the live stream so we have enough battery. Thank you.